thoughts on the match?
I think it was a great performance from the boys. They were magnificent. You know, they worked both sides of the ball, very organized, and we had 2 opportunities. It was a proper playoff game, and you know, we had 2 opportunities where we could have done better. First, the one breakaway with Remy in first half, and the second one with Sarko, where, you know, those are your opportunities. You know, and unfortunately we didn't take him.
When you look back on this run of games and the late comebacks that you've praised, obviously the slow starts have existed, but those are the kind of moments your team has taken late on with those chances you're talking about. So,
Yeah.
In your mind, is it another case of football being football, where sometimes you're going to get that to go your way, or do you need to create more chances?
No, obviously, listen, you're coming down to the end of the stretch of the games, you know, and especially when it's a derby game, you know, it's always gonna be tough. And like I said, structurally they were very organized. You know, the boys worked their socks off. You know, it was just a moment where we had the first moment, we didn't capitalize on that, and then it's a nothing moment where, you know, you can say for me, I don't feel it's like a penalty. I think he's already going down before anybody touch him. But again, you know, that's the referee's decision, and there's nothing I can do about those decisions, you know. But the way that we played, I'm very proud of the boys.
Is that what you saw in the penalty decision, that he was already on his way down?
Yeah, listen, if you truly watch it back, and we watch it back also from the goal, with the speed from behind the goal, and you can just see.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It's obviously Dennis starting out on the right-hand side, and he just brought a lot of intensity, just forcing quick errors up by New Mexico, just giving it us all for 90 minutes. What did you make of him and the attack?
No, Charlie was tremendous. So was everybody else. You know, we worked ourselves structurally, and he did the job. You know, he was very good, and you know, and that's what you need. And we were very good at it, to be fair, today. And we started well. You know, we've had a little bit struggle of our starts, and today I think we started very well. We were on the front foot. We created a lot of turnovers for them, and we just didn't take that one moment. Because if you look at the game, they had their first shot in first half. That was it, right? We had the breakaway with Remy where we could have been a different outcome. Second half, they have that one shot that Patrick Paris took corner, and then we had the golden opportunity maybe to make something out of that, and you know, he saves it. You can say maybe if we go 2 inches low, 2 inches high, you know, but those are moments that has to be a goal. We didn't take it, and then, you know, a penalty decision where I don't think it's a penalty decision. So, you know, and that decided the game.
And with derby days, I mean, we said last week, derby days are different, you know, much more intense, you know, there's a bit of pride at stake. So, you know, heading into the game, what was kind of the memo you were giving your boys?
Well, the boys knew and understood what was at stake, and they did very well. You know, I was very proud of them, and you know, in the performance, you know, and how we started the game, you know, how we stayed in the game, and how we played the game with a full intensity, and you know, and again, football is just about little moments.
You went very man-oriented defensively tonight through midfield. We saw it across the back line as well at times. Could you share your thinking behind that? And also, you know, it seemed like it had some real effect on the field. Is that something that we could see a little bit more on, depending on the opponent in these next games?
Well, it's not the first time we've done it. We've done it multiple times, and you know, and obviously you got to look at, okay, what can we do a little bit better maybe to help ourselves, maybe get into the games, given that the week prior, after 20 minutes, we were down 3-0, and this is a team that likes to play football, and whenever you face a team that doesn't like to play football, you also have to be aggressive and intense against them, and I think we did that. I think we didn't allow them to be in the rhythm, you know, and again, if we meet them again, it will be a different outcome for sure.
We saw JP and Carl, you know, playing higher up the field tonight with some injuries and some absences on the health side.
Yeah.
You know, Rafa, when he was in here before, you talked about how playing more direct and not building up from the back quite as much and being more combative really seemed to suit the team tonight, but might suit the team in general.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you might see a little bit more of from this group, of being a bit more direct and vertical, and maybe not playing out in so many situations, even when you have more of a first choice group of players who are healthy and available to play?
Well, you always got to look at it from a game to another game. You know, the games are different, and if you face an opponent that is going to be a low block, I don't see the spaces where you just have to go long, because then there's none. You know, so it just varies from game to game, and obviously you mentioned health. You know, we had 2 players that were sick all week, and we didn't even have MS on the bench. You know, but when we get everybody healthy, you're always looking for ways that you know, to put everybody. But being direct, you know, is nothing wrong in football. You know, and sometimes you got to do it with the players that you have.
Does that verticality and you know the more aggressive maybe style of play kind of create maybe the hunger that you've been you know trying to ask for the last couple of weeks, or can you create that by being a team that keeps the ball and plays it on the ground?
Well, I think I've never. What I meant with the hunger and desire was that game. You know, if you don't have hunger and desire, you don't come back and you don't get results all the time, right? So that is one game. But the hunger and desire, they all have, right? Otherwise, you don't play the game like you played. You don't play like you played today. That is always there, you know. And with my boys, you know, they come and they give us everything that we have. That's one thing that you saw it, right? When some people are out, it's the next man up mentality, and they showed it. You look at Carl today. He's not a natural 10, and I know everybody was looking at it, but that's what we had, because the one we had, natural 10, he had fever. You know, so, but the next man mentality of that the group have is remarkable, you know, and given what we've gone through and still going through, you know, and now is the best challenges, you know, now is the best challenge, and this group responds, and I know they're going to respond next week.
Any other questions on our end?
We talked to Darnell on the postgame for our radio program, and Darnell talked about going game by game and seeing the short term in order to achieve the goals in the long term. How important is it in terms of keeping this team focused on training Monday morning, training Tuesday morning, instead of where's Orange County at and where are you guys in the table and the big picture things? How important is it staying in the moment?
You always stay in the moment. You know, there's no use looking at what others got to do. We just got to keep focused on ourselves. We got to keep trusting the process, working through it, because we can only control what we can control. We cannot control all the teams or the outcome. That's not in our hand, and that's in nobody's hand. But you have the work that you put in every day. That is what you can control. And again, every single day, whatever we ask them, they come and deliver. And for me, that is it. You know, tomorrow we off, 24 hours of disappointment. Monday we get back to work.
Coach, Jean-Eric Marceau makes his start, and Rafa, he said in here that Jean is a great player, always gives it 120%. Just what did you make of him in that midfield?
Nah, he was unbelievable. Well, we talk about a guy who's just coming and you know, will give everything that he has. Very good in his anticipation, very good on the ball, you know, moving the play well, and he's just gonna get better and better from here. So for me, I was very happy with his performance. I think it was a great performance, given the circumstances. Also being in derby game, you know, it's not easy, you know, but for him to step in and look like he's been there from the get-go, that makes me very proud, and I'm looking forward to see more of those performances from him, because he has it.